may be seated, honourable members.
Announcement.
Yes, honourable members. Today, the 25th of November 2025, we mark the International Day on the Elimination of Violence against Women. We are happy on this occasion to have in our midst the new regional representative of the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, Ms. Bhatia. UNDP has been supporting Mauritius for a very long time, but more specifically today, we must underline the support of the Parliamentary Gender Caucus by the UNDP. Once more, we are benefiting from the close collaboration of UNDP to support our own efforts to struggle against gender-based violence. Indeed, tomorrow, we will launch the 16 days activism against gender-based violence at the call of the Secretary General of the United Nations. I am pleased that the Honourable Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, the Minister of Gender Equality and Family Welfare, and Mrs. Bhatia will be with us on that occasion to show their commitment to this very complex cause. I look forward, once more, I look forward to welcoming you all tomorrow and in the days to come until we close on the 10th of December on Human Rights Day. Thank you.
Papers have been laid. Questions?
Yes, Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Address to the Honourable Minister of Commerce and Consumer Protection. Whether in regard to the increase in the cost of living and the loss of affordability, he will state the measures taken by his ministry in relation thereto, indicating the A. Sums disbursed from the initial injection of rupees 2 billion in the Price Stabilization Fund as at date, giving details of the disbursements, including justifications therefore. B. Projected evolution in prices of basic commodities over the next 3 months. And C. Cost of the consumer basket as at 31st October 2025. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, upon assuming office in November 2024, the new government was confronted with a challenging economic situation. In fact, the previous government's economic mismanagement left a difficult legacy. Public debt jumped by 43% in 5 years, reaching over 83% of GDP by mid-2024. An independent audit revealed that the former administration even engaged in systematic fiscal misrepresentation of key economic figures, masking a larger budget deficit, 5.7% of GDP instead of 3.9%, and slower growth than claimed. This voodoo economics and lack of transparency severely limited fiscal space and undermined confidence in our economy. In simple terms, high inflation and a constantly depreciating rupee were the results of the poor economic fundamentals we inherited. Our country, reliant on imports for fuel, food, and commodities, was hit hard by pandemic disruptions and international conflicts. The past government's heavy borrowings and loose fiscal practices aggravated these pressures. As a result, by late 2024, the cost of living had become a serious strain on families. The new government recognized that urgent action was needed to stabilize the economy and provide relief to the population. Madam Speaker, over 2019 2024, the rupee lost considerable value against the US dollar, euro, and other currencies. There are a few reasons for this depreciation. First, global investors flock to the US dollar due to rising US interest rates, which strengthen the dollar and weaken currencies like ours. Second, Mauritius' balance of payment was under strain. High import bills, especially for fuel and food, meant persistent demand for foreign currency, putting downward pressure on the rupee's value. Third, the confidence in our economic management was shaken by the past administration's opaque practices. When debt is high and deficits are understated, markets react by valuing the currency lower. Indeed, our central bank had to intervene repeatedly, selling hundreds of millions of dollars to slow the rupee's fall. All these factors contributed to the USD-MUR exchange rate reaching unfavorable levels, making imported goods even more expensive and feeding into domestic inflation. In summary, we have high inflation and a weak rupee because of external shocks and internal weaknesses, past economic mismanagement, high debt, and reliance on imports. This is the reality the new government started with in November 2024. We fully appreciate how these issues translate to hardship for the average person, from rising grocery bills to more expensive gas and utilities. Madam Speaker, in view of the unstable international context, with rising international freight, upward volatilities in foreign currencies, and rising global prices of essential commodities, and as promised in the electoral manifesto, the government has established a price stabilization fund of 10 billion rupees, starting with an initial 2 billion rupees contribution as announced in the budget measures 2025-2026 to protect the purchasing power of the population. In this context, government has approved the implementation of a fixed subsidy scheme under the Price Stabilization Fund for a pilot phase of 6 months starting 26 of August 2025. A fixed quantum subsidy scheme has been introduced under the Price Stabilization Fund for 5 essential commodities: processed cheese, milk powder, edible oil, infant milk, and baby diapers. A first evaluation of a scheme is being done after 3 months. Madam Speaker, I shall respond to parts A to C of a question regarding the measures taken by my ministry to alleviate the increase in the cost of living, with particular reference to the Price Stabilization Fund. With regards to part A of a question, government has allocated an initial 2 billion rupees for this fiscal year to the Price Stabilization Fund, with the objective of mitigating rising costs of essential commodities. This refund scheme is being administered in collaboration with the Mauritius Revenue Authority, which verifies sales claims prior to authorizing refunds. Caps have also been established to ensure the scheme remains fiscally predictable and within the approved envelope. The projected requirement for the 6-month pilot phase stands at approximately 492 million rupees. I am informed that for the months of August to October, an amount of 186 million rupees is being processed by the MOA, out of which 73 million rupees has been disbursed. The MOA is awaiting further submissions from traders to effect the remaining refunds. For period October to December this year, an estimated amount of 197 million rupees is expected to be disbursed. Furthermore, it is to be noted that the fund also provides required fiscal subsidies to maintain the present price of bread to the population. The total cost is 47 million for the period ending October 2025. It is expected that the total cost for the whole fiscal year would be 448 million rupees. As regards the justification requested, the sum disbursed has been used to operationalize a pilot 6-month refund scheme targeting selected essential commodities, namely milk powder, 50 rupees per kilo, edible oil, 15 rupees per litre, infant milk, 55 rupees per 900 grams, baby diapers, 50 cents per diaper, processed cheese, 10 rupees per 250 grams. Under this scheme, government refunds 60% of the difference between the prevailing market price and the 2021 benchmark price, which represents the lowest pricing point observed between 2021 and 2025. This benchmark was selected to ensure an objective, data-driven basis for calculating the refund while maintaining fiscal discipline. The refund is designed to provide immediate and visible relief to consumers, reduce shelf prices by an estimated 18% to 28%, depending on the commodity, stabilize the prices of goods heavily affected by international prices, exchange rate volatility, and rising freight and insurance costs. An inter-ministerial technical committee comprising my ministry, Ministry of Finance, MOE, and STC is conducting a mid-term review after the third month of implementation to adjust the scheme if necessary. Madam Speaker, it is to be noted that there are not less than 43 essential commodities under price control mechanism at the level of Mauritius and 36 commodities for Rodrigues. In line with the government program 2025-2029, my ministry is continuously conducting market analysis and monitoring so as to undertake policies for price stabilization, such as the implementation of markup controls on essential commodities and VAT exemptions. Nevertheless, the prices of several essential commodities continue to remain high due to persistent international inflation, volatile exchange rate, and rising freight and insurance costs. We have noted that there have been an effective decrease in the prices of commodities on which we have intervened. However, the evolution of prices is dependent on international price practice and also the forex exchange. It has been noted that for edible soybean oil, there has been a decrease of 5.8% since introduction of a price control and subsidy scheme. It is projected to remain stable over the coming months. For processed cheese, there has been a decrease of 5%. It is projected to remain stable. For infant milk powder and baby diapers, there has been a decrease of 5.5% in price, and price is expected to remain stable. For milk powder, there has been an initial decrease of 24.2% at intervention, and we have noted an increase at international level by suppliers by 4 to 5%. With the introduction of price markup and removal of VAT on items such as frozen vegetables, we have noted an average fall of around 9% in market prices. Madam Speaker, it is to be noted that the removal of VAT on range of essential food items has had direct and immediate impact on the purchasing power of households. By eliminating the 15% tax on basic goods such as frozen and canned vegetables, infant food, selected dairy products, and other widely consumed items, retail prices drop overnight, giving families instant savings on their weekly groceries. This VAT removal has also helped soften the impact of exchange rate fluctuation and rising import costs, which would otherwise have pushed prices upward. The measure has therefore acted as a buffer for consumers, ensuring that essential items remain affordable while the Ministry continues to monitor and stabilize the wider market through price control mechanism and the new refund scheme. Madam Speaker, I wish to highlight some additional measures that government has taken to increase the purchasing power of a population. These include a payment of a 14-month bonus to employees earning a basic monthly salary of up to 50,000. B, payment of the 2025 salary compensation to earning a basic monthly salary of up to 50,000. C, the reduction in the price of diesel by 5 rupees per litre and mogas by 7 rupees and 75 cents per litre. As regards for Part B of a question, over the next 3 months, basic commodity prices are expected to show moderate overall stability, supported by several favorable external trends. These stabilizing factors are expected to continue easing import cost pressures. At the same time, international prices for rice, wheat, and sugar have fallen by 38%, 10%, and 17% respectively, contributing to a more favorable cost structure for staple import. As such, essential commodities that are already demonstrating declining of stable trends, including vegetables, milk powder, edible oil, and processed cheese, are expected to remain broadly stable, especially those benefiting from subsidies, VAT removal, and control markup. However, certain categories may continue to face upward pressure due to international volatility and supplier-driven adjustment. Global dairy and edible oil prices have risen in recent months, with the FAO Food Price Index showing increases of 6.6% for dairy, 10.5% for edible oil, and 9.7% for meat. These trends, combined with exchange rate sensitivity, imply that commodities such as beef, lamb, coffee, and some processed foods may exhibit moderate increases. Fresh and chilled products such as chicken and yogurt also remain vulnerable to cost adjustments. Madam Speaker, as regards for Part C of the question, based on my Ministry's continuous retailing monitoring across essential product categories, the overall cost of a basic household basket has remained broadly stable as at 31st of October 2025, supported by the combined effects of price control, VAT removal, and recent introduction of subsidies. Our data show that several high consumption items, including cooking oil, powdered milk, processed cheese, frozen vegetables, and baby essentials, recorded notable price reduction ranging from 5% to 24%, while other categories remain steady despite global pressures. Without these measures, a significant portion of the basket would have been subject to upward adjustments driven by higher supplier prices, exchange rate movements, and freight costs. Looking forward, My ministry expects further improvements in the affordability of the consumer basket as the new 6-month refund scheme under the Price Stabilization Fund begins to take full effect with additional lists of commodities. This scheme is designed to bring immediate and visible reductions on key essentials. In conclusion, since 1 year, the government has been working without respite to help the public cope with a high cost of living. We inherited an economy in distress, characterized by high inflation, a weakened rupee, and a strained fiscal position due to both global crises and bad legacy of the previous administration. Our response has been comprehensive and urgent, combining immediate relief measures for households with reforms aimed at restoring economic stability. Prices of fuel and basic goods have been cut through tax and subsidy intervention. Wages and incomes have been boosted through bonuses and compensation. And essential services like transport, internet, and healthcare are being made more affordable, if not free, for our citizens.
Minister?
I'm finishing. Yeah.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, these measures are already bringing relief. Inflation has begun to trend down, and the rupee has stabilized. Most importantly, families are seeing practical benefits. We are continuously monitoring the situation and will not hesitate to introduce additional support if necessary. The cost of living remains our top priority, and this government is committed to ensuring that every Mauritian can afford basic needs and live in dignity despite the challenging economic climate. The path to full economic recovery will take time, and we have started on the right foot. We have started on the right foot by addressing both the root causes and the immediate symptoms. We are confident steering our economy out of trouble. The government's message to the population is clear. We understand your difficulties, and we are taking concrete action to alleviate them. Together, we will overcome this cost of living crisis, and build a more resilient foundation for Mauritians' future.
Thank you, Minister. Yes, please. Your first question.
Yeah, and I hope, Madam Speaker, I'll be given
Yes, I'll
enough
be
time
lenient.
to put
I'll
my
be lenient.
questions, because he has taken 25 minutes to reply to this PNQ.
You don't have to
Madam
say.
Speaker, that argument raised by the Honourable Minister on economic mismanagement by the previous government, la population en a mort, Madame la Présidente. After 1 year, the population wants to see results, as stated by the Deputy Prime Minister himself. Madam Speaker, several budgetary measures, such as the review of the VAT registration threshold for SMEs, the review of the age of eligibility for the basic retirement pension, and the removal of the CSG allowances are having a negative impact on Mauritian households and have contributed to what I would call an affordability and a cost of living crisis. My question, Madam Speaker, to the Minister, can the Honourable Minister inform the House whether his ministry has carried out an assessment or study of these impacts on households? And if not, why such a study has not been carried out until now, Madam Speaker?
Yes, Minister.
Madam
Please,
Speaker.
all of you, one moment. You have to bear in mind, it is true, you took a very long time, Minister. Maybe you replied to everything. But we all have to bear in mind, we only have 30 minutes. Please.
First of all, let me answer his first question. He said that les gens en a marre concernant.
No, you don't
Allons
have to
dire,
reply.
on est en train de
That
mettre sur
was
l'ancien
Honourable
This
Minister.
is the truth.
Honourable Minister, please, only reply to his question, and as from now, you don't make comments, you ask a question. Otherwise, I'm going to rise. Otherwise, if we go like this, I'm going to raise the sitting. straightforward answer to that question.
Madam Speaker, this is the truth. They destroyed the economy,
Yes,
and we are here to redress the economy. The ministry is constantly monitor market prices of essential goods. We are doing it full time.
Thank you. Second, question only. Question only. No, you wait for him to finish.
Madam Speaker, the House should not forget that this government was elected on promises to lower prices on everyday goods.
Question!
He is the minister.
Sit down. Honourable Leader of the Opposition, if everybody is going to do this, I'm going to raise the sitting. Second warning. Now you put a question. Yeah, I'm warning everybody. Everybody. Please.
Is the Honourable Minister aware that today at supermarket counters, people are leaving behind goods which they are unable to pay, Madam Speaker?
Madam Speaker, this is why we have come with the measures, removing VAT. We have come with price stabilization fund to alleviate the poor.
Okay, third question, please. Yes, I've seen you. I've noted. Please.
Madam Speaker, in August, government took the decision to subsidize the price of milk. However, the price of milk is on the increase, including, he made reference that there has not been any increase in infant milk, including infant milk. Can the Honourable Minister inform the House as to why government decided to use public funds to subsidize milk products and did not reduce the profit margins on those products?
First of all,
Straight reply.
the profit margin, in fact, there is a maximum markup on basic commodities like milk. And we have to note that price of milk today is a lot cheaper when the MSM was in power. Let me give you some example. Farmland, 1 kg, today is being sold at 267 rupees. And when the MSM was in power, it was around 274 rupees. Snow wheat, 1 kg, 237 rupees today. And when MSM was in power, it was 271 rupees. Anchor, 1 kg, 254 rupees today. And when the MSM was in power, it was 271 rupees.
Okay, Minister, we've got the gist.
Okay.
We've got the gist. Your fourth question, because I have other people waiting. I've got other people waiting.
Madam Speaker, paragraph 51 of the government program refers to new legislation to allow parallel importation of pharmaceutical products, which, as stated, will result in more competitive prices on medicine. Now, more than 10 months have elapsed since that announcement was made. Will the Honourable Minister inform the House where matters stand with regard to pharmaceutical products?
Madam Speaker, the Leader of Opposition doesn't have to worry about it. We are working on it. Already 1 year, we are working on it. They were in power for 10 years, they didn't do anything.
That's why the Deputy Prime Minister wants to leave the government.
Fifth question.
Madam Speaker, on the same issue, can I ask the Honourable Minister to inform the House what has been done at the level of his ministry to control the prices of medicine, especially those medicines that are not available in our public hospitals?
There is maximum markup on medicine. It's a controlled product.
Okay. Sixth question, and then I will let the Chief Whip put a question.
On the same issue. No, let me finish all my questions.
Well,
Madam
I don't know how many you have.
I have a lot of questions. You gave him
All right.
time. You should give me the same amount of time, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
Everybody,
Madam Speaker,
put the question.
yeah, I'm putting my question.
Members.
Madam Speaker, the prices of basic food such as dal puri and roti have witnessed a significant increase due to ruthless measures taken by this government. Today, NPA d'Alpourin so 18 rupees been 28 rupees in 1 year's time. That is an increase of 10 rupees, Madam Speaker. Does the Honourable Minister realize the harm that has done? And will he inform what corrective measures will be taken to address this, Madam Speaker?
Madam Speaker, it's not all the marchand d'Alpourin who is selling at this price. People need to compare. If it's not value for money, it should not buy it.
Nobody's listening to the minister. You're all talking at the same time. Thank you. Yes. He must give all his questions.
Madam Speaker, the population was promised a decrease of more than 20 rupees on petroleum products. 1 year down in his mandate, is the ministry, is the Honourable Minister in a position to say if this government will respect this pledge made to the nation? Because they won the election.
We will try our best.
Yes. More questions? Yes?
Speaker. Yeah,
Madam
Speaker, with the...
Let me put things quiet. Now, of course you have the right, but he is the leader of the opposition, it's his time. This is his time. He must finish all his questions. I will give you a chance. I won't be able to give everybody. You're making my life very difficult today.
And we are making the life of the population easy today, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with the forthcoming summer and cyclonic period, sooner or later we know that the prices of vegetables will go up. Can the Honourable Minister, because we remember he came to the House with Susu and Brazil. I'll give him the prices on the market today. Can the Honourable Minister inform the House how he intends to maintain reasonable prices of vegetables as we approach the festive season and the end of the year? Prices are more than double, Madam Speaker.
Question. Vegetables, and I know the prices.
Madam Speaker, these are seasonal products, but this government has come with maximum markup on frozen vegetable and canned vegetable. Let me give some prices.
Fresh vegetables, I think he's mentioning. Yes.
We can also eat frozen vegetable and canned vegetable. Ambo garden mix, 450 grams. Garden mix. Today it's being sold at 78 rupees. And when the MSM was in power, it was 143 rupees. Ordo mixed vegetable, 400 grams. Today it's being sold at 57 rupees. And when the MSM was in power, it was 101 rupees.
Okay, I will have to give at least one question to the Chief Whip.
Can the Honourable Minister confirm that the prices of the following products have kept on increasing since the beginning of this year? And I have a table that supports what I'm saying, Madam Speaker, that is fresh and frozen beef, mutton and chicken, poisson la perle, salted fish, canned pilchard. And will he tell the House what he intends to do to alleviate the loss of affordability this population is facing? Because we're not going to eat only milk in this country.
Short and sweet. Babies take only milk.
He needs to be patient because there's a second list of subsidized products coming soon.
Thank you. Chief Whip.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. Le ministre pourrait-il indiquer à la Chambre quels étaient le taux d'inflation en 2022 et en 2023 et quel est le taux d'inflation aujourd'hui? Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
Monsieur le ministre, allez-y.
Inflation was huge when the MSM was in power. Let me give you some example. October 2022, it was 9.9%. November 2022, it was 10.3%. December 2022, it was 10.8%. And it was around 11 to 12% in 2023. Today, Let me give some example from July. July 2025, 3.1%. August 2025, 3.3%. September 2025, 3.4%. October 2025, 3.5%.
Thank you. Honourable Member for Portrush North.
Madam Speaker, the Minister should in fact say they started on
No.
the back foot.
Question.
Given that the Minister's government has renegated on all their promises, from the payment of 14th
I want
month,
a question.
decrease of price of
I
fuel,
want a question.
all of the promises that have been made have been renegated. The one, la promesse phare de l'Alliance du Changement, c'est la question.
You sit down. I have just said we need questions. We don't need comments. I want you to give a question, otherwise I'll ask someone else to speak.
La promesse phare était bien sûr d'instaurer un fonds de stabilisation de 10 milliards de roupies. Quand est-ce que le ministre peut-il éclaircir à la Chambre? Quand est-ce qu'on peut attendre ce fameux fonds de stabilisation à hauteur de 10 milliards de roupies, comme promis, surtout maintenant que le deal des Chagos est en question? Quand?
I don't need an answer. Minister spoke for 20 minutes on the stabilization price. We don't need an answer. Yes, Mr. Jaman. No, Mr. Jaman asked.
Yeah, on the same issue, the price stabilization.
La question c'est quand? What is Madam Speaker, my question? I put a question.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, we have a mandate of 5 years. He has to be patient.
Yes, Mr. Jaman. Yes, I gave
Thank you,
him.
Madam the Speaker.
I gave him.
In the
already.
same vein, to reduce cost of living and improve the purchasing power, can the Honourable Minister seek whether the STC can consider to import more products, basic necessities, in order to alleviate poverty and reduce cost of living?
I thought he already replied to that as well.
No. The STC, I'm saying the STC.
Very
Can the
short,
STC consider?
Short and sweet. Short and sweet.
We are in this direction.
Yes.
STC will import more
Okay.
products.
Last question, Leader of the
Madam
Opposition.
Speaker,
Then
I
we
get
will
back
break.
to the Price Stabilization Fund. We understand from the reply that out of 492 million rupees, only 73 million rupees has been disbursed until now by the MRE. Now, he made mention of the second list. May I ask the Honourable Minister to inform the House where matters stand with regard to the publication of the second list of products to fall under that fund, when we know that the consumer protection associations have already agreed on the list since 3 months ago, Madam Speaker?
Yes, Minister.
Speaker,
Last reply.
We have
last
indeed
question.
met the different associations of consumer protection. When we had a technical committee between my ministry and the Ministry of Finance,
Let the Minister speak, please.
the interministerial committee will need to meet by next week. Thereafter, we will go to Cabinet.
Thank you. Time is up. Now we go to Prime Minister question time. I'm calling Honourable Second Member for Rivière-des-Anguilles. Yes.
Question B 1031, please.
Madam Speaker, on the 31st of October 2024, on the night of Diwali, whilst the whole nation was celebrating the victory of light over darkness, the then government took a totally irrational decision which left the country in a state of dismay and darkness. That decision was taken just a few days before the 2024 general elections. On that very day, the then Secretary to the Cabinet and Head of the Civil Service, Mr. Pramod Niranjan, informed the office in charge of the Information and Communications Technologies Authority that following a report from the then Deputy Director of the National Security Service, Mr. Urdev Ramdani, that letter was dated 31st of October 2024, that the national security and law and order situation in Mauritius could be jeopardized following the posts and publications and broadcast on social media of alleged telephone conversations of certain political figures from the previous regime and their close associates. According to the then Secretary to the Cabinet and head of the civil service, these conversations allegedly represented a threat to national security of Mauritius and was likely to seriously destabilize the information as well as the fundamental constitutional, economic, social structures of Mauritius. In order to prevent any breakdown of public safety and public order, as well as to maintain law and order in the country, the then Intelligence and Security Coordination Committee had recommended that appropriate and immediate measures be taken. It must be pointed out that the previous government had completely disregarded the views and advice of the then National Security Advisor from India. The then Secretary of the Cabinet and head of the civil service thus directed the officer in charge of ICTA to take appropriate action for the curtailing of the social media platform totally until the 11th of November 2024. That is, on the very date of the proclamation of the results of the general elections, which they thought they were going to win. Madam Speaker, I wish to remind the House that the leaked information which was broadcast on social media was extremely damning against the previous regime, especially on the eve of the general elections. Day after day, the recordings garnered widespread attention among the public, which was then in shock and awe at their contents. Consequently, the board of ICTA, under the chair of Mr. Dick Ning Sui Hua, hastily directed all internet service providers to temporarily suspend access to all social media platforms until the 11th of November 2024 in pursuance of Section 18(1)A of the Information and Communication Technologies Act of 2001. It is in those circumstances that on the 1st of November 2024, the whole nation woke up to the shocking news that the then government had taken the decision to ban social media and reduce internet speed. This unprecedented decision by a regime which was en net perte de vitesse had been taken without the slightest consideration for people who depended on the internet to do the work, on school children who also followed tutorials on the internet during the exam periods, and more importantly, without measuring the impact it would have on the economy of the country. They couldn't care less. The decision was in fact a political ploy hatched at the highest political level to save their skin. They thought they could save their skin against an impending debacle classic to what happens to certain rogue states under despots. Madam Speaker, the level of public outcry against this decision through all walks of life was unimaginable. Clearly, the previous regime had pressed its auto-destruction button. We know what they say, Jupiter rend fou tous ceux qu'il veut détruire. In regard to Part B of the question, Madam Speaker, I'm informed that the adverse economic and social impacts of the suspension of social media platforms have been tremendous and devastating. It has generated considerable economic and social disruptions, including loss of revenue for businesses that rely on online advertising or digital sales, disruption of SME operations, particularly those using social media as the primary marketing channel, and negative impact on businessmen and the BPO sector who are totally independent on the internet for their work. More importantly, Madam Speaker, the reputational damage inflicted on our country at the place where the rule of law and freedom of expression prevailed and a haven for tourism and business was universally acknowledged. Madam Speaker, I want to reassure the House that my government will never allow such a despicable decision against the nation's interests and which curtail fundamental liberties. As I have indicated on many occasions, my government also stands committed to upholding the fundamental right of freedom of expression while also ensuring that this right is exercised responsibly. Furthermore, I wish to inform the House that the whole matter is still being investigated.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Yes? Supplementary?
What I understand that there will be a full inquiry on all these issues. And can the inquiry be even undertaken upon the leaked information, the conservation, the post and all the posts that they try to block on the eve of the election? Can we have a full-fledged inquiry on all these issues?
All these posts have been secured, Madam Speaker, and also there will be a full-fledged inquiry. It has started, but it's going to continue for a while.
Thank you. Yes, Honourable Babaji, first member for
B1032.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Commissioner of Police that on Tuesday, the 11th of November 2025, at 12:45, one Mr. B.J.S., a Belgian national residing at La Golette, reported the disappearance of his pleasure craft bearing number PPC 7380 OL10, which had been berthed and moored in the lagoon in front of the Lux Hotel Le Monde at the Black River National Coast Guard Police Post. An inquiry was opened, and on the same day, following information obtained, officers of the National Coast Guard and the CID proceeded to the Petite Rivière Noir Solpan in the ex-shipyard basin where the pleasure craft was found. It was unattended. A search was also carried out in the vicinity of the region, and 15 jerry cans of motor spirit hidden among mangrove vegetation was also discovered about 50 meters from the craft. The CID, the Scene of Crime Office, and FSL personnel were called to the locus for examination of both the craft and the jerry cans, which were secured. Madam Speaker, in regard to Part A of the question, I'm informed by the Commissioner of Police that the inquiry is ongoing and the police is exploring all avenues, including the possibility that the pleasure craft may have been used to travel to Réunion Island or other neighboring islands. As regards Part B of the question, 31 police officers are posted at the Black River National Coast Guard Police as at the 20th of November 2025. It includes 1 Assistant Superintendent of Police, 9 police sergeants, 19 police constables, and 2 temporary police constables. I'm also informed that in the course of the inquiry, officers have viewed the CCTV footage at Lux Hotel. No arrest has been effected so far. The Anti-Drug and Smuggling Unit has also been informed of the present inquiry and has started intelligence gathering given the nature of the items recovered. With regard to Part C of the question, I'm further informed by the Commissioner of Police that it is not envisaged at this point in time to entrust the inquiry to a new team of investigators, but this might have to happen later. Since the Honourable Member has made mention of the Mauritius-Réunion axis, I wish to inform the House that a series of reinforced measures are being implemented to counter illicit activities, including drug trafficking activities, particularly along the Mauritius-Réunion axis. Cooperation with Réunion authorities is ongoing and is being strengthened from the Groupe de Contact sur la Sécurité, which facilitates inter alia real-time intelligence sharing between ATSU and l'antenne d'office anti-stupéfiant for the drug trafficking operations, coordinated maritime surveillance between the National Coast Guard and the Force Armée dans la zone sud de l'océan Indien, information sharing capacity building between the MRA and la Direction Générale des Douanes et des Droits Indirects to counter illicit trafficking, and judicial cooperation between the Attorney General's Office et le Bureau du Procureur Général de la Réunion. These efforts are further supported under the EU-funded Safe Seas Africa initiative, which enhances maritime domain awareness and interagency cooperation through the tripartite regional maritime intelligence sharing between the Regional Maritime Information Fusion Center in Madagascar and the Regional Coordination Cooperation Center in Seychelles, as well as the Operation Room of the National Coast Guard. Madam Speaker, following the state visit of President Emmanuel Macron, it was decided to enhance the cooperation between our two nations in the fight against transnational organized crime, in particular narco-trafficking in the Indian Ocean. The police will also benefit from new capacity-building opportunities through the Indian Ocean Academy. These measures and new cooperation avenues will significantly strengthen monitoring, improve enforcement capacity, and deter illicit maritime activities within our national territorial waters.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Babaji.
Will the Honorable Prime Minister enlighten the House to that same place where he just said Les Salines Lagoon? That land was leased to someone who is now jailed in Reunion Island, and that same place the boat was kept for 2 days. And how come those officers do not know the boat was captured over there?
Yes, Prime
Good
Minister.
question. We'll have to ask the Commissioner of Police. But in fact, they didn't know. They got a tip-off that the boat was there.
Okay, should be okay. Yes, the fourth honourable member for Rodrigues, Mr. Edouard.
Madam Speaker, B 1033.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Passport and Immigration Office that on the 9th of April 2025, Mr. L.R., a citizen of Mauritius, aged 61 years, submitted an application for an entry visa for the purpose of marriage on behalf of Ms. A.M.R., a Malagasy national, aged 42 years. On the 16th of May 2025, the application was turned down in the absence of relevant documents. On the 15th of July 2025, Ms. A.M.R. made an appeal to reconsider her application for visa. By virtue of Section 19A2A1 of the Civil Status Act, no marriage shall be celebrated unless an entry visa has been issued to the non-citizen for the purpose of the publication of the intended marriage. Under Section 19A2(3) EA and EB of the Civil Status Act, a non-citizen intending to get married to a Mauritian has to submit the following documents. 1, an affidavit, another legal document duly shown by our firm by him or her before a court of law in his country of residence or her country of residence, attesting that he is or she is in gainful employment or alternatively has sufficient means to maintain himself and or herself. And 2, an affidavit or any other legal document duly sworn or affirmed by him or her before a court of law in his or her country of residence, attesting the marital status of the person. The policy is to grant entry visa for the purpose of marriage upon submission of the documents as provided under Section 19A of the Civil Status Act. Madam Speaker, I wish to point out that there have been several cases whereby non-citizens have come to Mauritius for the purpose of marriage without the documents required under Section 19A of the Civil Status Act. Since they are not able to get married without these documents, they request for extension of the visas, and therefore they remain in Mauritius on visa for long periods of time. This is why non-citizens applying for a visa for the purpose of marrying as citizens are requested to provide upfront the required documents under Section 19A of the Civil Status Act. Ms. A.M.R. has therefore been requested to submit the documents required under Section 19A of the Civil Status Act. As at date, she has not submitted any document. I am informed that there have been instances, Madam Speaker, whereby non-citizens are getting married to citizens for the sole purpose of obtaining residence in Mauritius. In order to address such issues, my office is reviewing the Civil Status Act as well as the Mauritius Citizenship Act and the Immigration Act for any consequential amendments.
Thank you. The table has been advised that PQB 1034, which is the next one, will be replied by Honourable Minister of Labour and Industrial Relations. PQB 1040 will be replied by Honourable Minister of Land Transport, and PQB 1047 will be replied by Honourable Minister of Information Technology, Communication and innovation. So now I think I should call the third member for Grand B Poudre-d'Or, Mr. Etoiria.
Madame la Présidente, 1035.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the DBM Limited that Mr. Devan Anakuti was enlisted as a part-time service provider for media monitoring for an initial period of 6 months from the 1st of January 2021 to the 30th of June 2021 against an all-inclusive monthly payment of 25,000 rupees. The contract of Mr. Anakuti was subsequently renewed 3 times on the same terms and conditions with the same monthly fee of 25,000 rupees as follows. First renewal was for a period of 6 months from 1st of July 2021 to 31st of December 2021. Then a second renewal for a period of 1 year from the 1st of January 2022 to 31st of December 2022. And a third renewal for a period of 1 year from 1st of January 2023 to 31st of December 2023. At the end of December 2023, a new contract with revised terms was signed with Mr. Anakuti as part-time communication consultant for a period of 1 year from the 1st of January 2024 to the 31st of December 2024 for an all-inclusive monthly fee of 35,000 rupees. The initial contract and each subsequent contract renewal of Mr. Anakuti was approved by the then board of the DBM Limited upon the recommendation of management. Total payment effected to Mr. Anakuti from January 2021 to October 2024 amounted to 1,250,000 rupees for media monitoring only.
Yes. Yes.
Can the Prime Minister confirm that Mr. Anakuti was had a dual employment at the same time when he was at the DBM? He was at the Ministry of Fisheries.
This is from what it appears to be the case, yes.
Yes. Okay. Now we have second member for Rodrigue.
Yes, B1036. Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Director of the Pay Research Bureau that in line with the established practice, the Bureau has had consultations with the Rodrigues Regional Assembly as well as the Rodrigues Workers' Federation in the context of the preparation of the next PRB report. Letters were sent to both the Rodrigues Regional Assembly and the Federation requesting written proposals as well as their views and observations on general conditions of service. Madam Speaker, as a matter of fact, in July 2023, the Rodrigues Regional Assembly was requested to submit information related to the review exercise. In August 2023, the management of the Rodrigues Regional Assembly and trade unions in Rodrigues were requested to submit their representations. The Pay Research Bureau has conducted a first visit to Rodrigues in June of 2024, whereby the Director and the Officer of the Bureau met the management of the Rodrigues Regional Assembly, unions, and federations to explain the approach and methodology that the Bureau would adopt for the 2026 review exercise. Thereafter, 2 additional visits were effected to Rodrigues from the 2nd to the 4th of April 2025 and from the 6th to the 12th of April 2025, respectively, to hold consultations with relevant stakeholders. The Pay Research Bureau has also had meetings with individuals who had expressed an interest to depone. Madam Speaker, it is opportune to note that at the request of one of the federations, a meeting was held with its affiliates in June of 2025 at the Bureau to discuss certain outstanding issues pertaining to pay, grading structures, and conditions of service. Furthermore, in July 2025, a delegation comprising of the Island Chief Executive and the officers of the Rodrigues Regional Assembly had a meeting at the Bureau where several issues in relation to Rodrigues were discussed and cleared.
Thank you. Yes. You're right, Mr. François. The Honourable Second Member for Bureau-Campbell, Mr. Sibel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Is question B/1037, please.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Chief Executive Officer of the Multi-Carrier Mauritius Limited that intermittent FM radio reception in certain parts of the southeast region of Mauritius is a long-standing issue. This is due to the fact that certain regions, especially the coastal road in the southeast region, are mountainous, and therefore the topography of the terrains result in sporadic FM radio reception. Regards to Part A of the question, I'm informed that the responsibility to ensure adequate radio and signal coverage rests with Multicarrier Mauritius Limited, a company established in the Section 28 of the Independent Broadcasting Authority Act. MCML acts as a multiplex operator and is responsible for ensuring that both terrestrial radio and television transmission over the island of Mauritius, Rodrigues, and Agaliga. Madam Speaker, regards Part B of the question, MCML is aware of the situation and is considering the possibility of installing a new FM station in the Southeast region to improve radio broadcast signal. MCML is in consultation with the Independent Broadcasting Authority and the Information and Communication Technology Authority and all FM radio operators for the location of specific FM radio broadcast frequencies in for that region. I'm also informed that at present MCML is undertaking a preliminary test on the FM broadcast reception in the Southwest region, and the quality of FM reception in that region is expected to improve within the first quarter of 2026.
Thank you. That should be all right, yes. The Honourable Fourth Member for Port Louis North.
Yes, 1038.
Madam Speaker, with your permission, I'm answering to both B1038 and B1041 as they are connected. With regard to the number of persons presently overstaying their visas, I'm informed by the Passport and Immigration Office that as at 22nd November 2025, around 9,800 persons are overstaying in Mauritius. I'm further informed that Mr. BRS is a French national born on the 19th of October 1994 in French Guiana and holds a French passport. He came to Mauritius on the 30th of May 2025 from Réunion Island, and it was his first visit to Mauritius. At the immigration counter, he informed that he would stay in the country for a period of 6 days at a guest house in Mayberg for tourism purposes. Security checks and verifications carried out on the Interpol database on the same day revealed nothing adverse on Mr. BRS, and the latter was allowed to enter Mauritius for 15 days. It is to be highlighted that French nationals do not require visa prior to traveling to Mauritius. On the 14th of June 2025, date on which his visa expired, he neither left the country nor applied for an extension of his stay. Since that date, he was being looked for the tracing and tracking team of the Passport and Immigration Office. I am informed by the Commissioner of Police that on the 29th of October 2025, at around 12:15, following information obtained by the police, Mr. BRS and two other persons, namely Mr. JPSC and Mr. JFIG, who were in a private car, were intercepted at Royal Road, La Sousse, Central Flag, by CID Eastern Division. They were found to be in possession of suspected drugs and other incriminating articles, including one rifle without any label nor any serial number, one black plastic wrapping containing a quantity of white powder suspected to be cocaine on the right side jacket of Mr. BRS, one plastic parcel wrapping a quantity of white powder suspected to be cocaine in the car, one knife sharpener, one what they call a Rambo knife from under the observer's seat, and two black hoodies and one pair of black and red gloves. All these items were secured by the police and the three persons were arrested. Mr. BRS confessed his guilt. I'm also informed by the Commissioner of Police that on the same day, that is the 29th of October 2025, at 13:40 hours, a case of sequestration, which occurred on the 25th of October, at around 23:00 hours at L'Espérance Trébuchet, was reported against Mr. BRS at Piton Police Station. On the 30th of October, he was provisionally charged before District Court of Flac for the offence of drug dealing, to wit, possession of cocaine for the purpose of distribution and conspiracy to commit sequestration. He was remanded to police cell. Mr. BRS appeared before the District Court of Flac on the 6th of November, on the 13th of November, and the 20th of November 2025. The police has objected to his release on bail, and he has been remanded to police cell until the 27th of November 2025. whereas the other two persons were released on bail on the 20th of November 2025. On the 2nd of November 2025, the National Central Bureau of Interpol in Mauritius sought information from the National Central Bureau of Interpol in France on Mr. BRS. Thereafter, on the 4th of November, Interpol France issued a red notice against Mr. BRS, who is wanted for drug-related offenses, participation in a criminal conspiracy with a view to preparing an offense punishable by 10 years imprisonment, and also money laundering. Madam Speaker, I'm informed that investigation by the police is ongoing regarding all the cases reported against Mr. BRS. The inquiry will reveal whether there is any connection with the recent cocaine seizure on the MV Alpha Bravery. By virtue of the provisions of the Passport Regulations 1969, nationals of almost all countries are granted visa on arrival after having satisfied immigration requirements and security checks. This system has given rise to many persistent abuses, as evidenced by the significant number of overstayers. My government will take remedial actions to strengthen the border control system by amending the legal and regulatory frameworks where necessary to prevent the occurrence of such abuses.
Thank you, Mr. Duval. Yes?
First question, Madam Speaker. Given that this person has remained nearly 4 months on the territory without a visa, valid visa, and that he was publishing videos on social media, which in fact are being used to prefer charges against him, videos that tells about his violent and unlawful activities. It puts into question, raises issues on the role of the Field Intelligence Unit, which reports to the Prime Minister, the Commissioner of Police, and how, for 4 months, such a violent individual convicted for murder and drug trafficking internationally has been allowed to come and do that not in front of them on social media. So that is the first question.
This is why I said we have to review all these things. Because today, he just said murder and all this. But when they check on the Interpol list, it wasn't there. That is the problem. We have a deficient system, which we're going to look at, change, because many countries in the world are now using a new system. It might cost a little money, but a new system where these individuals won't be able to come in.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Yes, more questions.
Madam Speaker. Can the Prime Minister clarify whether, given the exemption from visa requirements for people traveling from France, whether the same checks are done for those travelers coming from a French territory as would be another traveler coming from a country where a visa is required? Therefore, are the procedures for background checks the same as in the case of this Mr. El Capo?
My understanding it is. Whether it's being done or not, I don't know, but my understanding it is. It's the same check.
Okay, Mr. Babaji, you have a question? No, because your PQ was also answered by the Prime Minister. Let me proceed now. We've finished with, sorry.
39.
So it's 39 now, huh? Give me 1 moment. Well, there we are. Third member for Bobassa.
B1039, please.
Madam Speaker, I'm informed by the Commissioner of Police that on the 28th of March 2023, Mr. BSR made a declaration to the Central CID to the fact that in November 2021, he decided to purchase a villa from import of the Ireva Villas, a project of Arriva Immobilier Limited, and represented by Mr. ACP as director. On the 24th of November 2021, Mr. BSR signed a contrat de réservation préliminaire Société Civile Immobilière d'Attribution with Arriva Immobilier Limited for an initial contract of around 8.2 million rupees. On the 13th of December 2021, a down payment of 1.5 million rupees was made. On the 17th of February 2022, Mr. BSR paid a sum of 3.5 million rupees. On the 7th of December 2022, Mr. ACP requested him to pay an additional sum of 2.2 million rupees over and above the agreed amount of 8.2 million rupees. He refused to pay the amount, the extra amount, he has served the mise en demeure to the director of Arriva Immobilier Limited. He has given this declaration as a measure of precaution as he intends to enter a civil suit against the company. In accordance with established procedures, an inquiry is initiated even if a precautionary measure has been given, whether the offense has been committed or not. Police started an inquiry on the matter. It has recorded statements from 6 persons, including Mr. D.R., notary, Mr. C.P., director of Ivera Villas, who denied the allegation leveled against them, and they were allowed to go. The other 4 statements were from witnesses. I must point out that despite the fact that a declaration was made to the police on the 28th of March 2023, it was only on the 13th of May 2025, more than 2 years afterwards, that the case was forwarded for advice to the office of the DPP. This even, there's a cloud, there's the nebula of cloud here. Why did it take more than 2 years for the case to be forwarded to the DPP? On the 22nd of May 2025, ODPP requested, the office of the DPP requested the police to initiate further investigation. The police is attending the request, has started the inquiry. I am also informed by the Commissioner of Police that the names of 2 notaries public have been mentioned and that the inquiry is going on. I'm informed that the FCC has received several complaints made by victims against the owner of Venice's property and the owner of Arriva Immobilier Limited, following which the latter had initiated 2 investigations for money laundering with predicate offense of swindling occurring as from year 2022, and inquiry is still ongoing on this matter as well. The Honourable Member would appreciate that perhaps at this stage I can't give further details.
Thank you. Yes.
Madame la Présidente, ce genre d'escroquerie devient malheureusement trop fréquent et font beaucoup trop de victimes mauriciennes de la diaspora, mais aussi étrangères. Donc le Premier ministre peut-il nous dire si des moyens seront mis en œuvre pour prévenir de tels actes? Il y a beaucoup trop d'escrocs qui sévissent en toute impunité dans ce secteur.
There's going to be a new law practitioners bill that is coming on. We have to look at all these notaries as well.
Yes.
The 2 of them were well known. I suppose you know who they are.
Thank you. Last question. Time will be up.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Même si des procès au civil, voire au pénal, sont engagés, les victimes ne recouvrent pas leurs investissements. Donc, le Premier ministre peut-il voir avec le bureau de l'Attorney General pour que les lois soient amendées en exigeant, par exemple, de fortes garanties aux investisseurs, aux promoteurs, garanties qui peuvent éventuellement servir à indemniser les victimes?
I think I will ask the Attorney General to look into this matter.
Yes, time is up. Now, the table has been advised. The following PQs have been withdrawn. B1061, B1047, B1055, B1042, B1046, B1052, B1045. Now, we've got very little time left before we break for lunch. We can still start. Yes, let's start with question time. Yes? Everybody wants to break, right? No. Questions? B10, Mr. Babaji again. Vous avez enlevé. J'ai pas eu le temps tellement ça va vite. Allez, vous allez me dire, Honorable Chief Whip.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. B1056.
Yes.
Madame la Présidente, avec votre permission, je dépose les informations sur le nombre de plaintes reçues, celles résolues, celles en attente, ainsi que les principales catégories de plaintes reçues au cours des 2 dernières années de la part des consommateurs de la CWA pour la circonscription numéro 18. Concernant la partie B de la question, j'ai appris que la ligne d'assistance 170 fonctionnait auparavant 24/7. Cependant, ces horaires d'ouverture ont été modifiés et sont désormais de 5 heures le matin, AM, à 23 heures, à compter du 1er, cela a commencé du 1er septembre 2022. Néanmoins, en période de forte affluence et pendant les fêtes, la ligne d'assistance 170 reste ouverte 24/7, compte tenu du volume d'appels. Concernant la partie C de la question, j'ai appris que la hotline 170 est gérée en interne par la CWA, qui compte actuellement 15 employés. L'équipe comprend un coordinateur des relations publiques et de la communication, 2 chefs d'équipe et 12 agents de service clientèle. Face à une charge de travail croissante, la hotline 170 s'appuie fortement sur ses 14 employés à temps partiel aussi, qui travaillent par roster de 5 heures le matin à 9 heures à domicile et de 16 heures à 21 heures, afin d'assurer le fonctionnement quotidien et de traiter les demandes des clients. Malgré ce dispositif, le service expérience client reste en sous-effectif par rapport au nombre d'appels reçus, notamment en cas de coupure d'eau majeure ou de problèmes d'approvisionnement en eau régionaux. Madame la Présidente, concernant la partie D de la question, j'ai appris que les réclamations sont traitées par les équipes d'exploitation des 6 zones de distribution d'eau, donc nous avons 6 zones. Ces équipes sont également confrontées à un manque de matériel et de personnel pour effectuer des réparations, les raccordements à domicile et les autres interventions. Il convient de préciser que le réseau de la CWA est ancien et présente des défaillances dans plusieurs régions, ce qui le rend sujet aux ruptures des tuyaux. Selon la complexité des réclamations, le délai de réponse moyen est de 2 à 3 jours. Ce délai peut être plus long dans certains cas, notamment si des travaux importants sont nécessaires ou en cas d'indisponibilité de l'entrepreneur. J'ai également appris que la CWA a approuvé un système de roster révisé, assurant ainsi la disponibilité de la ligne d'assistance 170, désormais 24/7. Ce système mobilisera un effectif total de 33 personnes, qui permettra de se passer du personnel à temps partiel. Donc on recrute actuellement 33 personnes pour travailler et sera renforcé par des équipes administratives chargées du suivi des réclamations jusqu'à leur résolution.
Madame la Présidente.
Yes.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. Je remercie le ministre pour sa réponse. Le ministre peut-il indiquer à la Chambre s'il trouve acceptable que la hotline 170, censée assister la population, que la majorité des plaintes demeurent ni traitées, ni suivies, ni même accompagnées d'un retour aux usagers, et le personnel ne s'adresse pas correctement au public. Peut-il également préciser si lui-même, le ministre responsable de la CWA, est satisfait de la performance de ce service? Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
Madame la Présidente, je remercie l'honorable membre pour sa question. Je dois souligner, Madame, que je suis nullement satisfait personnellement des performances du hotline 170 de la CWA. Je suis pleinement conscient des nombreuses difficultés auxquelles le public est confronté, notamment par le manque de réactivité, exactement comme l'a si bien dit l'honorable membre, de ce service face à la détresse des abonnés qui subissent des situations de water stress. Je peux d'ailleurs témoigner que j'ai personnellement téléphoné sur le 170 et j'ai appris plus tard que le Deputy Prime Minister, le DPM, a aussi téléphoné sur le hotline, et je peux dire que le DPM a eu plus de chance que moi. Quand moi j'ai appelé, quand j'ai appelé le 170, madame, afin d'évaluer le fonctionnement du service, j'ai pu constater les mêmes problèmes que ceux rapportés par nos concitoyens. C'est précisément pour cette raison, Madame la Présidente, que j'ai demandé un rapport complet sur la performance du service hotline soit soumis dans les plus brefs délais. J'ai demandé aussi au General Manager d'écrire officiellement celui qui est responsable de ce hotline 170, et une lettre est sortie, un warning letter est sorti adressé à celui qui est responsable de ce hotline. J'attends, je dois le dire ici à l'Assemblée nationale, et je suis sûr que les employés responsables de ce hotline m'écoutent actuellement parce qu'ils savent ce que Ils ne sont pas au courant de ce que je vais dire ici, mais ils savent que ça va chauffer. J'attends de ce service qu'il soit beaucoup plus réactif et qu'une meilleure coordination soit assurée entre le online 170 et le département de camions-citernes de la CWA, afin que les doléances des abonnés puissent être traitées plus efficacement dans les meilleurs délais. Il est également clair qu'une augmentation des effectifs, donc on recrute là, comme je le disais un peu plus tôt, devra être envisagée pour améliorer de manière durable la performance et la qualité de ce service essentiel au public.
Je fais juste une remarque. C'est ce qu'on appelle le numéro vert. Ce n'est pas que le 170 qui est déficient.
Ce qui m'intéresse, c'est le 170.
Je sais.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. Le ministre peut-il informer la Chambre s'il est au courant que plusieurs tuyaux ont été posés à Belle-Rose 4 bornes sous l'ancien régime, mais n'ont jamais été raccordés, laissant ainsi les habitants sans accès à l'eau dont ils ont désespérément besoin. Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
Oui, je dirais quelques mots dessus, avec votre permission, Madame la Présidente. Je comprends très bien ce que l'honorable membre dit en ce qui concerne le raccordement des tuyaux à 4 bornes, mais malheureusement, il n'y a pas à 4 bornes. Si vous allez en direction de la Cascavel, par exemple, l'ancien ministre doit bien moins savoir. Si vous allez en direction de Cascavel, quittant Bossonge, vous allez voir sur la gauche des tuyaux, des gros tuyaux que nous avons installés en 2023, sûrement en 2024, en payant des millions de roupies. Ces tuyaux ne sont jamais raccordés. Il n'y a pas que ça. Il y a Tamarin, par exemple. Il y a Tamarin, par exemple. Le ministre est au courant. Le ministre est au courant. À Tamarin. Morcellement, les salines à Tamarin. Le morcellement. Laissez-moi répondre. À morcellement, les salines à Tamarin. Des tuyaux ont été posés pour des millions et des millions de roupies. Ces tuyaux n'ont jamais. Mais le ministre est au courant. Malheureusement, il ne pouvait pas mettre la raison avec Prakash Mantora. C'est ça la raison. Il ne pouvait pas le faire. Parce que l'ancien directeur général de la Central Water Authority ne répondait pas au ministre, répondait à la cuisine. C'est ça le souci aujourd'hui.
Merci. Chers amis, il nous reste 5 minutes. Est-ce que ça vaut le coup? Je ne crois pas. Je vous prie. Vous voulez parler, poser votre question?
Go for my B1040. My question, my PQ B1040 that was for Prime Minister and allocated to...
Was already replied.
No, it hasn't been replied, but has gone to Minister of Land and Transport.
J'ai rien compris. J'ai rien compris. Vous, pour l'instant, votre numéro, c'est 1057. Après lunch. OK. Let's break for lunch. Break for lunch. 2:30. 2:30. J'ai pas compris. 2:30.